Hi there, welcome in. How's everybody doing? That was weird. The music kept going. Oh my goodness. We have hold on, guys. I have to fix this. I'm so sorry. How are you guys doing today? Can you hear me okay? Do you hear the echo? Oh goodness. Loud and clear, no echo, guys? It's just fine. Okay, you know what? I think it is. I think I know what's going on. I was looking for some headphones, but I actually think it's because I have a video open in another tab and I hadn't muted that other tab. Okay, so no echo. That's good. Perfect. How are you guys doing today? Are you excited to talk about tarot and wealth? I'm so excited. This is something I don't know that I've ever talked about as a tarot teacher. So I'm really excited about this. I think it'll be really fun. I also have a free spread for you guys. Let me know, have you ever done a money reading and was it easy or hard? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Have you done a money reading and was it easy or hard? Okay. I'm going to see if anybody's over on Facebook as well while you guys answer, and then we'll get started. I'm really excited because we do talk a lot about how our personal experience, our personal thoughts on life in general reflect within our readings. Oh, you hear an echo? Good now. Okay, good. Great. Thanks, Stephanie. Hi, how are you guys doing? Wow, we have a lot of people over there on Facebook. Welcome in, guys. Okay, so echo fixed. Comments are coming through properly on both channels. Let's get started. Okay, so yes, Maria says yes, not hard. That's amazing. Maida, does that mean you haven't done any at all? Or does that mean it wasn't hard for you? Okay, so here's the thing that I do about a lot, even though I haven't specifically talked about it in this way. Every time we do a reading, we are actually bringing our own experiences, our own thoughts, and our beliefs into that reading. It will shape whatever reading we're doing. So, for example, I'm going to give a very different relationship reading than somebody who has been in a happy marriage for 10 years, right? I bring a lot of cynicism to relationship readings that somebody who has maybe found like a really good healthy match for them wouldn't, right? Because I have a very negative relationship with relationships with men specifically. So I am not a good person. Probably not a very good person to go to. I mean, unless you're planning on leaving a relationship, I might be a really good reader for that. But I might not be the best person to go to for a relationship reading, which is why I don't do them, actually. Because of my own beliefs, experiences, and the way that I view them. Right now, I'm really good at boundaries, putting up boundaries in relationships. Like, I can talk about those sorts of things all day long, but we all bring our own unique experiences, beliefs, patterns, ideas about a topic into our readings, whether we're doing that reading for ourselves or we're doing it for somebody else. So when we're talking about money, whether we're doing a money reading for ourselves or a money reading for others, our own personal blocks, beliefs, and patterns are going to come into it. And money is just as polarizing as relationships, right? It might even be something that is even more pivotal to our everyday life, right? We need money to survive. It's quite literally woven into our survival instinct. So it is a very charged subject. So let me just check in with the comments over here. Stephanie's laughing. When you call yourself out for being a bad relationship reader. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about why money readings can be really difficult. There are some very specific blocks that come with money mindset. And if you don't have an awareness on your own money mindset, it can be really hard to do readings for yourself. And those patterns, those blocks will come into your readings and make them fuzzy, unclear. They'll make you feel like you didn't get anything out of your reading, or you might tell yourself what you want to hear, right? How many of you guys do that in your readings anyway? Not always a bad thing, but not always a helpful thing. So let's talk about the 3 blocks that we can look at and identify within ourselves so that we can keep them in mind when we're giving other people money readings or we're giving money readings to ourselves. How does that sound, guys? I've put together 3 blocks here. Okay, so number 1 is the avoidance block. So this is maybe somebody who doesn't check their account balance, who maybe, I know that probably most of us aren't balancing our checkbook anymore, but maybe they don't look at their statement on their bank account. Maybe they don't look into their recurring payments and make sure that they're managing them properly. It's kind of like an out of sight, out of mind sort of relationship with money. And honestly, I kind of feel like I fit into all of the blocks. And so you might resonate with multiple blocks here as well. Like I said, money is really charged. We need it to survive. We need it to be comfortable. We assign our worth based off of it in a lot of cases. And so it can be such a charged topic. So let's talk about the avoidance block, what it looks like. What does my financial future look like? Okay, so what you might be asking is, what does my financial future look like? It's a very general question, right? It doesn't dig into your actual finances. It doesn't give you any clarity around what you could or couldn't be doing right or wrong right now. It's what do I need to know about money right now? So these questions are a dead giveaway that you're probably in an avoidance block because you're not actually identifying anything specific with your finances. You're just trying to fix them with a card, right? So this is something that people do when they don't want to ask those harder questions, right? They don't want to ask about what they could be doing right or wrong, or what could I do to make more money, or what could I do to spend less money? These are some really important questions that we have to ask ourselves when we're doing money readings to get a lot of clarity on our current situation. Here's the thing. When it comes to readings, there are specific areas that are a must. Clarity, what you're moving away from, what you're moving towards, what you're saying yes to. These are all different things that I bake into all of my spreads because it's really important to touch on all of those areas. And when you're asking a question like, what does my financial future look like? You are quite literally doing none of those things. So when you're able to get the clarity, ask what you need to move away from, ask what you're moving towards, say yes to yourself in some way, shape, or form. This is usually through an action step or something like that. Then you're actually able to get traction and you're able to make movement and you're actually able to do something about your finances instead of something that's like so general, right? Something like this. And so what happens when we ask, what does my financial future look like? the cards aren't useful, the spreads feel scattered, nothing really lands. You might find a narrative thread, but you're probably not going to get useful information out of your reading. So if you're somebody who has this sort of avoidance block, it could be what specific financial situation, asking yourself, what specific financial situation are you hoping the cards will speak to today? Are you wanting to do a reading about your income, about your expenses, about your career, about what keeps bringing you down in your finances, right? These are getting into the nitty gritty is what you need to do with this sort of a block. Honestly, things like checking your bank account balance, things like checking your statements, things like looking into all of the little details of your money situation. This is going to be very difficult for you, first off, but this is going to be what you need. Finding an action step even that is along that vein is something that you are going to need if you're somebody who has this type of block. And you might see somebody come in to your practice with a question like this: what does my financial future look like? And you can usually identify, okay, this client in front of me probably has an avoidance block, and how can I help them best? I can help them best by helping them get clear on their money situation, right? So this would be advice around getting clear. This would be looking at the cards in terms of how can these cards that have come up for them help them get clear in their money situation. So it's really all about identifying, okay, I'm feeling avoidant, or my client is feeling avoidant. What do we need to do to like help somebody who's in this type of a block? Does that make sense, guys? That's probably why I haven't done a money reading yet, because I'm not good with money. Yeah, totally. I did a lot of thought about this, specifically, Stephanie, because I used to think this too, and I might to some degree still think this. But you know what? As women specifically, we have only had the ability to have our own money or to own our own property for 50 years, right? I'm right, right? 50 years we've had the ability to own our own businesses, property, and money. In the big scheme of things, that's not any time at all. So we are quite possibly the first in our family, the first woman who's had the ability to own property. You know, obviously our mothers or our grandmothers when they were very old were able to, but the thing of it is we come from generationally being blocked from money and being told that the reason for that is because we were bad at money, right? So we weren't taught that. We were, in fact, taught the opposite. And it's definitely a challenge, I think, for our generation to look at the situation that we've all been in ancestrally, even as women. And we have to repattern these sorts of beliefs that come up. So I honestly think that pattern, this I'm not good at money, comes from A, you were never taught about money, so of course you're not going to be good at it, but B, the collective idea that's been generationally perpetuated that women can't do money, which was a way to keep us away from money and to keep us subservient, right? Okay, so anyway, I'll get off my patriarchy soapbox and let's talk about the scarcity story. Okay, so the scarcity story. One, when a fear lens filters every money card before you've even began to interpret. So the scarcity story is, I don't have enough, I'll never have enough, I'm not enough. Like there's a worth within that scarcity story too. I'm not good enough to have enough money. I'll never make the type of money that I need because I'm not good at business or good at life or good at career, or I don't have any business skills or whatever that is. it's not always about money. It can also be about worth and self and ability. So whenever you see one of the higher pentacle cards, like the 10 of Pentacles or the King or the Queen, and you're like, that'll never be me. Anybody do that? I definitely have a lot of scarcity story myself. I remember feeling this for a very, very long time. I do have, for the astrology people in here, my Chiron is in Taurus. So if you know anything about astrology, that might make sense too. So with this one, this is a narrative that's kind of running behind the scenes. It does impact the way that you show up. It does impact like the avoidance. And honestly, somebody with a scarcity will likely have another one of these blocks as well, or all of them. But it shows up in a different way, because instead of it being necessarily an action that happens all the time, it could be like a refusing of offers, or not noticing offers that are in front of you, or not trying for things that you think are out of your realm of possibility or ability, or things like that, like not stepping into specific things that feel like they're out of reach for you. But there is an amount of skepticism, I think, that comes with this mindset. So when you get those higher cards, you're more likely to read them in reverse. You're more likely to interpret them as negative cards, even though they're technically looked at as positive cards. And, I always make the argument that there is no positive or negative, but they're typically considered some of the more positive cards of the deck. And so you might be reading them in a negative frame. You might be feeling really disconnected from your reading because you're like, that'll never be me. I'll never have that. Things like that. Some questions that you can ask yourself to shift it. If fear weren't a part of this reading, what would this card be saying? So what this does is this helps you read the card as if it's for someone else, especially if you're doing a self-reading, especially if you have the scarcity mindset. How would I read this for someone else? We tend to validate our beliefs with our cards. So it's really essential to notice when you're doing that and ask yourself, how would I read this for a different person? Am I interpreting this card, or am I interpreting my anxiety about money? This is a really good question. And what is the most generous reading of this card? That's still honest. So this is kind of forcing yourself to look at the card from a positive point of view, from a generous point of view. Are there anybody here who have picked one of those cards, like the 10 or the 9 or the King or the Queen of Pentacles, and been like, oh no, that's not me. That's not ever going to be me. I don't know what this means. How can I do this reading? For me, I always get really excited when I get those cards, especially as a person in business. I'm like, yeah, I'm on the right path, even with a scarcity mindset. But I'm curious if that's occurred to any of you guys. Correct was never taught. Yes, Stephanie. That's the thing, huh? We can't know something we were never taught. All right. Okay, so let's talk about the last block. This one, let me tell you what, the 6 of Pentacles, there's something in me that healed around this block when I started doing readings. The 6 of Pentacles came in and healed my little receiving block heart. I was also doing a lot of work with the laws of the universe at the time too, and I think they kind of expanded on each other. But let's talk about the receiving block and what this could be. For those of us who have given and given and given, and you might not be charging for your services, you might be really good at what you're doing and still giving it away for free, you could be experiencing a receiving block. It's especially difficult, I feel like, for spiritual entrepreneurs or spiritual people, because they have been told that they shouldn't be charging for their spiritual gift, that was a gift that they were given by the universe. They should be sharing it freely. And while I am 100% all about generosity, I'm also 100% about we need money to survive in this world that we're in right now. There have been other systems of economics that took care of their healers, their mystics, their people that did this type of work. We are not in that type of economy right now, right? There's not people that will come and give you a place to live and give you food so that you can do the thing that you love and to heal and help people. It just doesn't exist. If it did, then yeah, you could give it away for free because you'd be taken care of by your community, by the people that you were given to. But in the economy that we're in right now, we have to ask for compensation for our gifts, for our work. Now, if you're going to do this as a side gig, as a volunteer gig, that is perfectly fine. But if you're wanting to do it full time, if you want to live your life and do this type of work, you will have to receive in order to make it work, because we all have to live, right? So really big, and this is definitely something I feel like spiritual entrepreneurs or spiritual people really struggle with. This looks like over delivering, working constantly, not having the money. On the one hand, you will feel really good because you're giving back to people. You're pouring yourself into the thing that you love. But on the other hand, you're going to feel exhausted. You're going to have to work another job. You're going to have to do it as a side business or something like that. So this is going to lead to your cards telling you to rest, to make time for yourself. You're going to get a lot of empresses. You're going to get a lot of high priestess. You're going to get the cards like the hermit and the hanged man. You're going to be getting cards that are telling you, hey, listen, slow down, reflect. How can you take care of yourself? What do you need to? And so if you're getting a lot of these types of cards, then this could be a big signal that you're being invited to, obviously the Six of Pentacles. These could be cards that are inviting you to receive as well, to ask yourself, like, am I receiving too? So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of something that helped me with this block. I'm not going to say I don't still have it to some degree, but I will say that it was so much dampened by the Six of Pentacles. It's really funny because I didn't do this on purpose. This card came out when I was testing the this card came out when I was testing the I'm trying to change my settings so you guys can see it. Hold on one second. I was just testing the camera. So let's unmirror. Okay, can you guys see it now? Okay, good. So I was just testing the camera and I pulled a card to test the camera and this one came out and now I'm talking about it. I think it was meant to be. But the Six of Pentacles, when I started reading it, for those of you who know my reading history, I started doing readings as soon as I labeled my cards with keywords and I did them live. So it was high pressure, it was live, it was in front of people, it was a lot, but I kept finding this card coming up over and over. And I kept telling people about giving and receiving and to make sure that they were giving and receiving in the same amount. And sometimes we can't, this is a good relationship thing too. Sometimes we can't affect what we're receiving, whether it's money or relationship or whatever. So we have to adjust what we're giving, because that is something we very much do have control over. And I found myself talking about that a lot. But within this card, something really shifted in me when it came to thinking about the fact that when we put energy, time, and goodwill out, the universe will pay us back in some way. It may not be money. It may not come directly from the person that we gave to, but the universe is meant to give back to us. And I think that this really shifted not only how I read the card and looked at the card after that, but it really shifted my own receiving money block. Does anybody else have that money block? I definitely did. I'd love to hear. I get excited as long as they're next to a good card. Yes, me too. I always get excited by the big ones in the pentacles. I'm like, yes, yes. Okay, so the key is asking good questions, guys. The key is understanding your block. The key is understanding when that block is getting in your way of an accurate reading for yourself or for somebody else. And it actually is a really good lesson too for all areas of life, is to really be mindful of what biases you're bringing into your readings. But I prepared for you a couple questions. What's blocking my ability to receive financially right now? What money pattern am I repeating that I can't see? These are really great questions to ask your cards. What does my relationship with money need from me today? This is a really great question to ask your cards. I also have 225 power questions, and some of them I'm really sure are money. So make sure that you're asking these really pointed questions for your money readings instead of the generic, when will I be financially stable? Or what does finances look like in my future? We want you to have the best ability to make decisions on your finances, or to help others make decisions on their finances, so that time is really used for the things that I was kind of talking about before, which is the clarity, what to let go of, what to move towards, etc. So will I be financially stable becomes what pattern is keeping me from feeling stable at what I already have, right? Why am I not feeling stable with what I already have? Should I take this job becomes, what does my relationship with financial safety need for me to understand before I decide about this job? Why can't I save money becomes, what am I spending to avoid feeling? This came from my own experience, by the way. I am the queen of redecorating when I have emotions. I'm like, I need to go buy some decor. I have a spread for you guys. If you guys want the money relationship spread, drop money in the comments and I will go ahead and drop the link to the spread. And we're going to do this. Does somebody want me to do a reading for them? If nobody wants a money reading, then I can just do an example. Let me know if you would like a money reading, and I will show you guys how to use the spread. Let me grab this link, go ahead and drop money, and I will put it in the chat. Okay, remind me your name. Monte Carlo SS. I remember you're from the TikTok days. I know you. I just forgot your name and its association with your name here on Facebook. Vanessa. Welcome in, Vanessa. Remind me your name and I'll do the reading for you. Shannon. Okay. Sorry about that. It's been so long since I've done the TikTok lives, you know? Hi. Okay, so I think, Shannon, we're just going to do, if you have like a specific question about money, you can, but we have some really pointed questions here. So I don't think we necessarily need any additional context from you. I think we can just do it straight from what we have going on here right now. I left this chat and I'm going to need it up so that I can see your reactions. Okay, there we go. I can see you again. All right, so now let me transition to tabletop view. I'm going to take myself off of here. Can you just confirm with me that you guys can still hear me? Sometimes when I take myself off the camera, it removes my audio. Did everybody get the reading? I did drop it in the comments. The spread. Did I drop it in the Facebook? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. All right, so Shannon, let's do a reading for you. This is the money relationship tarot spread, and what you're going to do, if you have never read with spreads before, you're going to shuffle first, and then you're going to draw all of your cards. Now, I can't show all 7 cards at the same time. I would have to really change up my camera, and you guys wouldn't be able to see any of the individual cards very well. So I'm just going to ask each question and pull a card. There's no right or wrong way to do this, guys. I get this question a lot, like, how should I pull cards? I personally ask the question, and then I do a little shuffle, and then I pull the card. So I would say, where do I currently stand with money? Pull the card. Where does Shannon? I'm now shuffling. Not everybody does that. Number 2, what's shaping Shannon's relationship with money right now? We're going to pull the next one. Number 3, what blind spot is Shannon being invited to consider? Bam. Number 4, what has Shannon been avoiding in their relationship with money? Number 4. Next, we have what strength can Shannon lean into? Number 5. What is Shannon being invited to shift? 6. And what may be Shannon's next aligned action? So if you notice in these questions, all of the things, little sneak peek at number 7, all of the things that I talked about are really in this spread. Clarity, what to let go of, what to step into, what action step to take. These are things that are going to really help you act on your insight from your reading. This is going to be so much different than if, okay, perfect. I'm so glad, Shannon. This is going to be so much better than if you just asked, what is in my future financially? If you pulled this asking that question, you would not get all that good of advice, right? Okay, so I want to make sure I can see Shannon's comments. Okay, so now I'm going to show you from here. One of the things I usually do is I just kind of look at the cards. It's kind of weird over here on Facebook. Can you see me, Shannon? I'm going to exit out of the Facebook video and enter it again. There we go. Okay. Okay. So basically, I like to kind of look at all of the cards first, just kind of see what's going on here. We've got some wands. All of these are wands up here. We've got the Hierophant, 6 of Cups, 8 of Wands, another wand, the Empress. So I kind of like to just do a little bit of a vibe check before I start reading. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of great cards here, a lot of really, really happy cards, right? These are all very positively associated cards for the most part, which I really love about it too. So, but now I'm going to go ahead and break out each individual card with the question. Not everybody does that, and it's not the right way to do it. It's just how I do it. Some people might just look at the spread and then just give like a vibe reading, and that's okay too. I personally like to break them all down into the individual questions. So where do you currently stand with money, Shannon? You've got the 6 of Wands. So this tells me you should be really proud of yourself for something with money. So maybe you're in a good place. Maybe you've made some choices or some changes that you're really proud of. This is about, if you're not happy or proud of your money situation, this is about finding that place where you can be. This is about celebrating yourself or your some decision you've made or something in some way. It's about honoring yourself. Technically, the Six of Wands is also about allowing others to honor you as well. So if you've gotten compliments, if you've had somebody say something, don't brush off the compliments. Allow yourself to be celebrated for your success in this area. For the next one, what's shaping your relationship with money right now? You've got the Knight of Wands. So the Knights are very active. They're all about taking steps. So I wonder, are you taking steps towards something that you're curious about, something that you're creating? This is about being brave as well. So the Knight of Wands is about relentlessly chasing your dreams, your passions, and your creations in a way that you push through and past your fear. So to me, Shannon, it looks like you're doing something right when it comes to money to be proud of. You're being invited to really move towards the things that make you afraid in your money situation, in your creativity, in your creation. And then here, it's another celebratory card. What blind spot are you being invited to consider? This is all about celebrating as well. It's slightly different. It's about milestones. So you might be in a new milestone when it comes to money. It might be a new place in your life where it comes to money. This is an invitation to acknowledge that milestone, acknowledge that place that you've gotten to. So if you find yourself being hard on yourself and feeling like this isn't enough, know that it's just a step along the way. That's the thing about milestones right there. They're all about that step along the way in your money journey. I'm glad that this is resonating. And it says, indeed. Yes, it is beautiful, isn't it? Okay, next, what have you been avoiding in your relationship with money? This is really interesting because the Hierophant to me is all about social conditioning. It's all about tradition. So the thing that I talked about just a few minutes ago about money story being hard for women because we have been raised in a society that told us we were bad at money, that refused to educate us on money, that refused to let us be in charge of or responsible for money for generation after generation. This card matches that for me. This is the types of things that I'm thinking about when I'm looking at the Hierophant card. So you might still have some money stories from the past, Shannon, that you're being invited to inspect. If you've been avoiding thinking about, the sort of this construct, this the way that we've been taught to deal with money, there could be some nuggets in that area for you when it does come to shifting any of your remaining money blocks. To me, seeing these cards makes me think that you're already working through money blocks right now, and you're already doing a really good job when it comes to adjusting your money mindset and your money situation. But there could be some things from social conditioning that are still getting in the way. Number 5, what strength can you lean into? And you got the 6 of Cups. So this is looking at the past. This is reminiscing on the past. This could also be inner child work. That's another way that I like to read the 6 of Cups is inner child work. So what's interesting about that is when we're talking about social conditioning and inner child work, they really do go hand in hand. So what have I been avoiding? The social conditioning aspect. What strength can I lean into? Inner child work, looking at the past and allowing myself to grow past that inner child version of me who is still struggling with something. So whatever that is for you, Shannon, whatever the story that shows up for you that comes from childhood, you're being invited here. I feel like between these two cards to really investigate that and lean into your strength of like moving from the work and things like that, and had some really good results from that, because this is coming up as a strength card. Allow yourself to work through that stuff so that you can get onto the other side of it. What are you being invited to shift? And you got the Empress. So this to me feels like your ability to receive. It also really feels in line with the creative aspect that I was talking about here with this Knight of Wands. So if you do have a creative project that you're interested in, she is not just about receiving, she is also about creating. So she is such a good card to get in this reading because she invites you to create the things that are on your heart. And she also invites you to make sure that you are charging accordingly for them, to make sure that you are also mothering yourself, not just everybody else. And then your last card, what could be your next aligned action, Shannon? You got the Eight of Wands. There could be an idea, an action step that you've already been considering. This is your go card, I feel like. The Eight of Wands is about momentum, progress, doing the thing. So if you had an idea about your money situation or finances, this could be like a good sign card. This could be a card saying, yeah, do the thing. Keep building momentum. Allow yourself to take that step. To me, this feels like a good sign in terms of something that you've already been thinking about. So you'll have to let me know if that resonates, if you know what that action already is. I have a feeling that it's been on your mind for a while and you might be dragging your feet on it a little bit. You will momentum from that step, I feel like, is what this is inviting you to consider. Let me know how that landed, Shannon. Any questions on this reading, guys? We can talk about any of my interpretations if you want. Look at what we got for Shannon. We really did get this invitation to show up, to create, to receive. We got this invitation here to work on the traditional meanings that Shannon makes around money, all of that social conditioning, to possibly do shadow work or inner child work, or whatever sort of method or modality Shannon is already good at, and to take the step that Shannon has already been taking. So Shannon walks away from this reading with a lot of really great insight and action steps that they can take. Resonates. Awesome. All right, and then I just wanted to quickly invite people, if you're not in the High Priestess Tarot School with us, it is only $7 a month. If you'd like to move up to Tarot Mastery Circle, it is closed right now, but for 2 days after you join the High Priestess Tarot School, you can upgrade to Tarot Mastery Circle, and that is our mastery level program where you can get certification and feedback on your readings and practice sessions and weekly spreads, lots of things like that. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up today? I would love to hear how you plan to, you're so welcome, Shannon, how you plan to do your money readings moving forward. Did you find this helpful? Are you going to try the 7-card spread that I gave you guys today? Love the spread. I'm so glad. This is the month of money in Sacred Vision Society, SVS Creator Vault. We dropped a whole bunch of money tools as well for business, financial spreadsheets, things like that, budget trackers, all sorts of money stuff this month. You'd like to finish your course? Yeah. Are you still in the High Priestess Tarot School, Shannon? Or are you creating a course? Because I'd love to hear more about your course if you're creating one. You're so welcome. Any other questions? No questions for today, guys? Alrighty. Well, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. Oh, Vanessa says the fourth question on avoiding a pile of cards fell out. Oh, no. That is so funny, Vanessa. I'm an avoider too. You're still in the course, but it's been a minute. Love to have you back, Shannon. Feel free to pop in anytime. We'd love to see you. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day, and I will see you soon.